What's up, YouTube? I'm back in the still standing garage, and today I'm working on my 1983 Regal. My Regal has a 231 3.8 V6. So I've been having issues with the Regal this summer. I've been driving it a lot more. So after a very long drive, I go ahead and I park it and I turn it off. But then when I go ahead and try to turn it back on, nothing happens. There's no clicking sound on the starter. There's nothing cranking over. Other than the lights turning on the dashboard, that's all I get. So I'm not sure what it is. Right now I'm thinking that there's a lot of heat being soaked up by the starter and it's failing, so I'm going to replace it in this video. There's another thing that it also could be the ignition switch that could be going out, but I've never replaced the starter on this car since I bought it back in 2001. So I'm pretty sure the previous owner never replaced it either. And another thing to point out too is that when I was driving this car around in wintertime, never had that issue. I could turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. Never had an issue with that. Always turned out on point. So that's why I'm thinking that it could be the heat here. So let's get it going and let's start replacing it. And the new starter, I got it from Jegs. One thing I'm disappointed on with Jegs is that I didn't get a sticker. I usually get stickers. I got used to it. But now with this, I didn't get even a sticker. Over $200, or I think 200 bucks, and I didn't get a sticker. So anyways, the starter that I'm using is going to be a mini starter. It's not a stock starter. I mean, do I need a mini starter? No, but why not? I'm always talking about going stock with everything on the motor. I mean, I already have the 4-barrel Edelbrock manifold and carburetor and other things here and there, but the starter, I decided to go with the mini starter from Powermaster. Powermaster is the same company I got my 150 amp alternator that I installed on the Regal. So let's open it up. And here it is. I'll put the part number in the description if you guys need that, so you guys can get one for your V6. The starter came with 2 bolts and then 2 shims and then the washers for the bolts. And then obviously it came with the instructions here. So I'm gonna read through them right now, and then we're gonna start working on the Regal over there. The starter is on the passenger side here. I'm gonna try to show it to you guys, see if I can get it to focus here, because I am gonna try to remove the wires from up here. There it is right there. You see all those cables attached to that solenoid of the starter. So that's pretty much the starter there. So like I said, I'm gonna try to remove the wires from up here to make it easier on myself, so that way when I remove the starter, it doesn't hang from the wires and it's pulling them out and damaging them. So let me try to take them out from right here and let's see how that goes. So I already removed the cables and the wires that came to the starter solenoid over here. So as you can see right there, the big stud right there, it had a nut that was 17 millimeters. So I used a 17 millimeter socket, removed the cable for the battery and the harness, and then also the one to the right over there was able to use a 9 millimeter socket to remove that. And that's the wire for the ignition switch. So it's ready to go, ready to be removed without worrying about the starter dangling and pulling all those wires out. So time to put the Regal over here on jack stands and start taking off that starter. Let's keep it moving. Let's go. All right, here we are under the car. There's the back of the car over there. There's a starter right there. It looks like I have a slow leak here because it does leak, but it leaks after I leave it apart for a long period of time. But look at the transmission pan. It's all dry. Ever since I replaced that gasket, I haven't had any issues whatsoever there. But over here, I'm thinking it's my oil pressure sensor, because this one has a mechanical oil pressure sensor. It's not the stock one. I'm thinking of going back to stock because hopefully that doesn't leak. I believe that the guy that rebuilt my motor said that, if I remember correctly, it was like 20 years ago. He said that it was better for me to be able to see the gauge, but I don't know. I haven't had any problems whatsoever. All right, so let's get going here. I'm gonna clean up all this oil real quick, and then I'm gonna start taking off the starter there. Hopefully it's not too heavy. If it is, it's probably gonna fall and break my light over here, but it is what it is. Let's get it going. I don't know if I should take off the cover right there for the flywheel. If I do, then it is what it is. I should be able to pull it towards the front to be able to get the starter out. Like I said, the cables are already unplugged or taken off. As you can see that here, this one has this one that goes to the same terminal where the battery cable gets connected, and then the one that's right here, this one right here, is the ignition switch wire. So I need to put that back in, but I'm gonna clean them up. Let's go. Let's clean all this off. Chrome oil pan. So these bolts should be 15 millimeter. Yep, sure enough. Hopefully I don't need a breaker bar. Let's see if I'm strong enough. Yep, it should only be torqued up to 32 foot-pounds. Let's see if this won't fit in there. Nope. There it is on this side. As you can see, my exhaust has been modified. It has dual exhaust right now, but because this is a V6, it has the driver's side exhaust pipe that comes over to the passenger side, and then from the passenger side it has a collector, and then that's what goes out to the back. I kind of want to go back to that because the Regal sounds very loud. I used to like it before, but now I want to go back to how it sounded, nice and calm, nice and quiet. It actually sounded really good. Oh, sorry for the camera. I'm hitting it over here. Everything's on cardboard, so it's vibrating. And then everything's oily here, so I can't really grip this damn extension here. Let's see. Come on. Gotta let go. I think I am gonna have to remove the flywheel cover because I'm gonna have to see if there's enough space between the new starter gear and the flywheel to make sure it doesn't grind when I turn it over, or if it even reaches. There it goes. Oh, one-handed right here. Oh yeah, a strong hand over here. So I am gonna go ahead and remove the flywheel cover. This flywheel cover has 4 bolts, 2 on each side. So one of them is right there, the other one's in the back over there, but mine's missing that bolt. And then again, it's on the opposite side, 2 other bolts over there. They're all 10 millimeter heads. So I'm gonna remove that real quick and we'll get back to installing the starter. And the reason why I'm removing it is, like I mentioned before, I want to make sure I have enough clearance between the starter gear and the flywheel, and also that it's not too far away. I just want to ensure that I have the right spacing there, so I don't mess up this new starter on the first try. All right, time to put the wires on the starter. So luckily my harness was able to reach all the way down to the floor. So that means I could have taken off the old starter and it would have been okay to lay it on the floor and it wouldn't have pulled these wires out. So one thing that I noticed was that this new starter doesn't have a stud for my ignition wire, which is this one. As you can see, it has a different connector there, but they do supply the new connector here. So all I have to do is cut this one, crimp this one, and then use a heat gun to make sure that insulation covers the wire. So let's get to that right now. So let me see. I don't even know what gauge this is, but we're gonna cut it right there. What does that look like? 12? I'm gonna find that right now. Is it a 12? Yeah, it looks like it was a 12. It didn't take out too much. Yeah, that's That's perfect. Get my crimper over here. Come on, get in there. There it is, easy money. All right, let's hit this up. Hit the heat gun real quick. There it is. Nice and clean. Let that cool off for a bit, and then we'll start putting it on. All right, before I start hooking up the wires to the starter, I'm gonna go ahead and start test fitting it to make sure everything fits in there good without the wires, because I know it's gonna become somewhat of a hassle if the wires are on there and I can't make sure it sits in there fully. So let me go ahead and test fit it real quick, and then I'll let you guys know if it's good to go. If not, we're gonna have to make some adjustments. All right, after the test fit there, the starter doesn't fit. So what doesn't fit, or what doesn't allow it to fit, is the solenoid here. The solenoid is touching the heat shield before this sits fully on the block. So let me show you real quick. So that heat shield right there, it's not allowing the starter to sit all the way. So luckily the starter is adjustable. So let me show you that. So what I need to do is get this solenoid to move over just a little bit this way. So like I said, this starter is adjustable. So as you can see right now, this one's adjusted to the middle hole here. I have this hole here and then this one here. So I could rotate the starter this way on the block. So all I gotta do is unscrew these screws right here, right there, and then the one on this side over here on the inside. Let me show you. It's a lot of movement going on around here. You see in the middle right there? So gotta take that off, adjust the starter or the block, whichever way you want to look at it. So let me do that real quick, rotate it, and then we'll go in there and test fit again, and hopefully everything fits. So you can see the 3 holes right there. So this one was the one that it was in. So I'm just gonna put it on this one right here. I'm gonna rotate it. So that brings it over probably, I mean, if I look at it, it's probably like a 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8, something like that. But I think that's all I need. There it is, it's adjusted. Let's go test fit it and see if it works out now. Looks like it did move about a 1/2 inch to 5/8 from where it was at, so we should be good now. Let's go. All right, YouTube, so after test fitting it, it still didn't fit. The solenoid was still hitting the heat shield, so I ended up adjusting it completely the other way. So if you remember, I originally put it in the middle hole, or I had it in the middle hole, how it came out of the box, and then we went ahead and adjusted it to the one in the bottom, which is this one right here, and it still hit. So now I went completely the other way, went to the top hole there, and I was thinking that it was gonna hit, the cylinder was actually gonna end up hitting the block, but after test fitting it right now, it sits on there perfect. So now it's time to put on the wires here, the cables. That's another concern that I have, is that because this is a lot closer to the block over there, I don't know how I'm gonna run the cables, because on the stock starter, this little prong here is on the other side, which allows this cable to go this way without contacting this prong here. But let me see what I could do here. Let me do some trial runs and see how it's gonna run for better fit me here. And I don't want these cables to be too close to the exhaust either. So let me try something out and I'll bring you guys back on. All right, YouTube, so this is the best route that I found that I could install these cables. So I got the battery cable here. It's routed the other way. I was planning on trying to run it this way, but it does fit in there without hitting the block up there. And then this one obviously is good where it's at. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to install it, but my concern right now is this cable here, the one that goes to the battery. It might be too short, but I won't be able to find out until I put it up there. So this is the original one that I had on there on the original starter, but it was on this side going this way. So I mean, maybe by a couple inches it might be too short, but we'll find out. So let me go ahead and try to install this, and I'll bring you guys back on once it's in there, because I can't really record up there. I'll keep hitting the camera. So, and there it is, YouTube. It's completely installed, ready to go. I did have to replace my battery cable. The one that I had on there was too short. It wasn't reaching the battery. So the one that I replaced it with was a 38-inch long wire or cable. It's a 4 gauge. So now we should be ready to go. It should reach the battery with no problem. Alright, YouTube, now on this side of the starter, I'm checking for the distance between the flywheel and the face of the pinion of the starter. So at minimum, it should be at 1/16 away. So right now, from the looks of it, it looks like it's about an 1/8 away. Let me see if I can show you guys that. So if you look at it right there, it looks like it's about an 1/8 away. So I should be okay. So what I'm going to try right now is I'm going to go ahead and try to start it. I'm going to try to start it and see how it sounds. If it sounds good, then we're good. If not, then I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. All right, it's ready to go. Got the cable on there, got everything hooked up to the battery. So one thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect the distributor, so that way the car doesn't actually start. So I just gotta take off the power there. That's it, ready to go. So let's hit it, let's see what happens. So that sounded really good. I also slowed down the video a little bit just to see if it was going too far out or not far enough into the flywheel. So no grinding, anything like that. It sounded good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the flywheel cover back on. I am gonna clean it up and put it back on, and then also make sure that this is on there all the way, because I only put it on there temporarily, and then I gotta hook up the distributor back on, and then we're gonna start it up and see how it sounds. Let's go.